Hello everyone, welcome to Loktantra Chats. So today is our first episode and today we are going to talk about why we want to do this podcast. I am Prasanna Naidu. I am a lawyer turned content creator and we have with us Mr. Rahul Devdar. We know each other from like more than 10 years and we used to discuss these like ideas and have discussions around democracy, police reforms, judicial reforms, etc., etc. A lot of things related to these things. So we thought, why not record our conversations and have a podcast about it? So let's start with you, Rahul. What do you have in mind about this podcast? What do you want to talk about? With whom you want to discuss these ideas, and what do you plan ahead?
No, this is actually, it is sort of an extension of what chats we have. And, what I thought, and like we were discussing, that many times what happens is that there is background to a reform which it's not simplified enough for, normal people, layperson to understand. And every policy decision or every law or every action of the government or in fact even corporates, it has not just one effect but it has multi-dimensional effect, and
Hmm.
some of this is complicated and many times it is missed by newspapers and media because they are intent on getting the first thing, which is the straightforward impact, and whatever gets the, I don't know, clicks or whatever
I
goes
saw
viral.
saw a recent video where well-reputed news agency was covering how many momos does an Indian eat in a month. You can imagine the
Yes.
topics they choose.
No, that is one. And like, for example, recently our opposition leader, Rahul Gandhi, he has announced that he's going to go for another yatra,
Hmm.
another Nyaya yatra or something.
Okay.
But, the idea is that it doesn't matter if you're doing a yatra, but it matters how you are addressing the complexity around the policy. Because it's not like, when we say, simple example, when Uri strike happened, it was a decision, it had multiple potential effects and, fallouts. And
Hmm.
you had to learn about them, anticipate them, and manage them proactively. Now, Uri is a strategic and military decision, you can say geopolitical decision.
Hmm.
But same goes for, let's say, agricultural law, same goes for CAA, same goes for constitutional reform, same goes for any other law, including judicial reforms that we have talked about. And as much as what we thought that politicians do not understand this, we have to also understand that judges do not understand this at all. So they make decisions and
You're
they don't
getting
understand.
controversial here.
Yes, I have to face judges. But the thing is, now, again, every aspect of judicial decision has to be evaluated on a touchstone of practical values. Like, when you say, in fact, I'll give an example that long time ago, Justice Lodha had made a decision that all the illegal buildings in Mumbai had to be demolished. I think it was 94 or 95 or something like that. And there were something like 25,000 buildings that were in consideration to be
Hmm.
demolished.
Hmm.
I don't know if you remember that there was a municipal commissioner called Khairnath,
No.
and he was known as the demolition man. That
Oh,
time there was
okay.
also a movie called Demolition Man, and he used to
Right.
demolish all these illegal buildings. And some had very ridiculous approval system where floor number 3 to 7 were illegal and from 7 to 12 were legal. So it's like, how is this possible? So all these things, Justice Lodha had decided in one of the
That
cases
actually
before that.
reminded me. That actually reminded me of a Bollywood movie where Govinda and Kader Khan is there, and
Uh,
Govinda has a dhaba near this Kader Khan's big hotel, and
uh,
they make some plot, and Govinda sends like Kader Khan sends politicians to demolish the dhaba, but instead of
uh,
that, Govinda convinces them to demolish the hotel illegal structure. So they are discussing which floor we must demolish first. So he says, go for the ground floor first. So he's like, अरे ground floor तोड़ दोगे तो ऊपर का सब नीचे गिर जाएगा. But
no,
finally they like remove the top floors and get
uh,
it done. But yeah.
no, but it is the bit of reality is there in that because so when he decided that all these illegal things should be removed, And then there was a huge uproar because, humanitarian, this, that. And the order was revoked, meaning Supreme Court set it aside. That time, Justice Lodha was in Bombay High Court. He later became Chief Justice of Supreme Court. But when Supreme Court set it aside, today we have even more illegal constructions. So when, as you have more and more, you overlook some of these transgressions, you get even more. So what are your options? What are the right way to deal with it? And that's why we wanted to explain this to people, that some decisions seem harsh, but they are at the lowest cost. If you demolish all the illegal buildings today, new buildings will not come up. But today the cost is, I don't know, 75,000 buildings. But if you wait, you will get 100,000 illegal buildings. Now the question is, how many things will you manage? So that is just one example. Now, CA,
and these are the reported buildings. There will be many which are unreported here.
Yes. These were the findings of before the court. So there must be others which are not before the court. So then, when you look at corruption, I remember I told you about this case where there was flooding on top of a flyover. So, it was unique. How can this bridge, under the bridge there is no water, but on the bridge there is flooding? Basically, bridge is under, what is this, overpass, or so this is a flyover, on the flyover there is flooding. So these kinds of things happen. And then, people don't realize, whenever you make corruption and then you fight corruption, then there are other side also. Remember I told you about this example where a BMC officer was required to get tenders for the MRI machine equipment. The MRI machine was from Philips. So he had to get 3 bidders or 3, suppliers to bid for this tender. So he said, if the machine is from Philips, how can you have a genuine part from non-Philips person? So ultimately, they didn't agree. So, there was a corruption in that also. So he said, I can't manage this, because if you have a Philips MRI machine, it's an MRI machine. It's not like a street lamp or something which any lamp will do. It's an MRI machine. So, whatever MRIs, I don't know, brain scans, body scans are coming out of it. You have to be, genuinely confident of those, because doctors are going to treat patient based on that. You put some nakli bulb in that, it's not going to help. But he was pestered for that. So there are multiple sides of the same issue. One side, you let corruption be, you get flooding on the bridge. If you persecute the officers too much, you get MRI machines, Philips MRI machines with G lamps. I don't know which lamp they put usually.
Yeah, there are certain things where things are not chalta hai. Like chalta hai attitude nahi chalna chahiye.
Yes. Chalta hai attitude doesn't work. And these are hidden from the people. Like, so like nowadays it's very common to people note that laws against, husbands, domestic violence laws are being misused. Now, yes, they are being misused, but there are genuine cases. So how do you protect the genuine cases? And how do you avoid misuse? So it means that judges cannot be blind. Law cannot be blind. Law has to be more sensitive, and policy has to take into account all these things. And that's what we wanted to explain. Like we were discussing in most of these cases, back and forth. And I think it is important for everyone to just get the broader sense and, maybe add to our understanding also, if they have unique experience. One other thing, what happens in India is that, in India, you have 22nd century people, people who are living in 20th
You
century.
always see that.
And people, and people who are living in, 1000 BC in the same country. So, you go and say, women should have this right. No, women should be confined to kitchen or something like that. There will be one idiot who will come out. Then you tackle that. There will be another person who will say, the whole completely family should be disintegrated. There is no need for family. Everyone is individual. Child belongs to the state. Like Nordic countries have give.
Uh,
He may be your child, but he's our citizen, and our right, it trumps yours. You say, this is ridiculous. So we want to understand complexities of all this, and I think there's only way to understand is to discuss, and that's why we thought,
yeah.
we
Also,
can
I like
take up.
there were few points, basic points which I had in mind when I
Mhm.
thought of this podcast. One was that as a common man, I mostly deal with rules, laws, etc., which are more under the municipal government and under the state government. नेशनल लेवल पे भी होता है बट इट्स लाइक आई डोंट डील विद इट ऑन अ एवरीडे बेसिस ओके एंड आई डोंट हैव द अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ द कॉम्प्लेक्सिटीज आल्सो though I do comment on it every now and then but that's individual opinion but I deal with everyday issues like under the which come under the municipal government. For example, the drainage line is choked up, okay, and the prime minister is not responsible for that, okay, for your drainage line being choked up, and he will not give you the solution. Like he is not directly responsible, and he won't give you the solution because who is responsible is the municipal government and the authorities there, okay, and also you
Correct.
are responsible partially, okay, because it is the people who throw the garbage, especially plastic and all, in the environment, which gets choked there. Okay, so you are also partially responsible for it. So one thing was this that I want to cover aspects regarding these things, like how we deal with like everyday issues and where we must go and what the approach must be, and two, that along with the rights you have, there must be a duty based approach as well, because you are also partially involved in everything in a society, in a governance structure.
Exactly.
You can talk about more about the duty based approach.
No, not just that. I mean, in our basic concept of understanding of society, our dharma-based approach is the fundamental understanding of every Indian. So it's not that it is something unique. We know we have to have a duty. We have a duty to every person, including the state, and we have that knowledge in the background. But what happens is that this knowledge has to be sharpened by a civics education. And unfortunately, I mean, the civics education subject, it used to be taught in up to grade 5 in
Hmm.
early schools. I don't know if it is taught these days, but
Hmm.
civics is more important because it is normal life, day to day life. And, like, for example, like what you said, I'm not getting electricity supply, or my
Hmm.
electricity supply is variable. My appliances are not functioning properly. Modi is responsible. It is not
Hmm.
correct. You have to look at what is going on. And then you realize, the local supplier, or, there is a transformer in your locality, someone is stealing or throwing stones at it, and that is creating a problem. Or whatever is the problem, you have to be alert. And alert citizenry is very important. Government cannot be eyes and ears. You cannot be under surveillance throughout. And this is very important because what you are asking for, I will not tell the government that someone is throwing stones at my transformer next to my building, next to my house. Government should know. So how will government know? Government has to do surveillance. So which means the government will intrude into your privacy. Do you want that?
Hmm.
No, government should not do surveillance. Okay, my privacy is important. Then are you going to report this? So this is the two sides of the same coin. So
Right.
alert citizenry is absolutely essential. And alert means what? Now today we have extra alert. Someone is stealing transformer, Modi is responsible. No, Modi is not responsible. You complain to the police. These days people don't know how to write a complaint letter to a police station. They go to police station says they write some complaint, which is very some disturbance is being caused, and no action can be taken because police anyways is overworked. So
Right.
it goes away.
Hmm.
How to write a complaint letter? those things are also important, and someone has to be teaching this, in schools, and so these are regular things. How to approach a corporation? You want permission? There are. Uh, I'm sure I don't know if you recall, but very long back we discussed this. For every government office, there is a group of people who are like the managers of. If you want to get work done, you have to approach through them, agents.
Yeah, there is a parallel system going on, which is not government.
Which is not government. These are private individuals who you have to engage with. कि तुमको
agents
लाइट कनेक्शन निकालना है तो उसका एजेंट है. अरे why do you need an agent? You simply write a letter and you should get this thing.
But it won't get done. It will take time. Eternity.
Yes. So then this agent business is there. So until and unless we resolve this, until and unless we are aware of what is required. So, Anna Hazare did that exercise where every government office has to submit and write what is the process and what time it will take. Citizens Charter or something it was called. Now, how many offices have that? Nobody knows, and whether it actually reflects the real process or not. So, like there's a bank account closing. My friend went to close the bank account for his mother. She had passed away. So he said, first give an application. So he gave an application. They gave him 2 forms. Then he filled up those forms. He submitted those 2 forms. They gave him 5 forms. He said, what is this? This is the playing cards or what? I'm giving one card.
Actually, this is sounds like a game, but it happens. Like recently, I went to income tax office. I got good guidance there, but at the end, first I had to wait. Like officially, it starts at 11 a.m. How is this official time? I don't understand for government office. It starts at 11 a.m. Okay, उसमें से भी no employees, like hardly one employee came there at 11 around. पहले तो कोई दिखा ही नहीं. Most of the employees came by 11:30. Okay, and I don't know when is their lunch time. Probably after 1.5 hours, I guess. So 11:30 people started coming, and when I went there with my problem that this is the issue, I went like from one desk to another desk. Then the other desk told me go to that desk. Then that desk told me to go to that desk. So it kept on happening, and there was no stationery. There was no stationery around that building. It was in BKC. I, as a common person, Chalo, I didn't bring the required document. I had the PDF of it on my mobile. So I was like, if it is required, I'll go downstairs, take the printout and submit that. But udhar hai hi nahi kuch. Like in BKC. Only top, like the building is so posh, but no stationery available for the common man nearby. I had to go to the station and then come back.
And this is even, this is true in all public offices. It is the process. So, like, what are they going to do with your printout? They're going to scan it and put it back. So why can't they, can you just send it on phone? No.
This is
Give me the printout. So then, this is the protocol. You have to have a printout. So, printout means what? So the digital manipulated रहेगा. अरे मैं उसी का printout निकालने वाला हूँ ना. It's not like I'm printing out something else. It's your document. I'm going
the
to
protocol doesn't say that you can help the consumer in whatever way you can. So
yeah, and this is following the letter of the law, creating complete injustice, and the entire effect is opposite of the intent of the law.
The consumer must get fed up and not come again.
See, government is a service to you, right? But what happens is, instead of giving you a service, what they are doing is they are expecting you to serve them. So when you go to government office, one whole day goes away. And if your work gets done in first visit, you can
You're the
come and
most
claim
lucky
100
person.
rupees for me. Yeah, you can claim 100 rupees for me. If I went there with my work, in first attempt, it was done. First thing they say is no, can't be done. Hey, what can't be done? No, it can't be done. How can it be done? You have to file an application. Then it means it can be done. No, it can't be done. First thing is no. This is become the norm.
Parallel system which we have about agents. The things goes like they try to scare you. Like, oh, this can't be done. You have to wait for so much time, so many months, etc. for you to done. But I have a solution which can be done like quickly. So and so you have to pay so much money.
10,000 rupees. And no process can be shared with you. It's secret.
How can they?
How to
How
file?
can they
How to
earn
file
that?
an application? That's what. How to file an application for connection? You need 5 documents. What if you have 4 documents? Then you need something else. No clarity. This will be hidden somewhere. And when you go, they'll ask you, "Do you have death certificate of your grandfather?" Who carries death certificate of your grandfather with you? No, no. His domicile certificate is required. No, where is my grandfather's domicile certificate? Where will I get it now? He passed away in 1950. How will I get his domicile certificate now? No, you have to get that. Without that, nothing. Or you can give a declaration. So tell me, give a declaration.
This
That
reminds me
or
of that
will
Office TV serial which used
exactly.
to be there. It was very good and very funny and witty at times. And there was an
And tragic
episode
also.
where, yeah,
And tragic also.
yeah, because in that one episode, the protagonist Musaddilal, he was declared dead, and he's like standing in front of them, and he's saying that I am alive in front of you, but he's like, no, but according to the government, you are dead. So, there are going to be many movie, web series, TV serial references in our podcast.
Yeah. So it's in Western countries, you go to the government office, they try to serve you. Okay, this is what you want to do. Give these 5 things, submit it. In 8 days, you will get the answer. Meaning, we'll process it in 8 days. So in 8 days, before 8 days, sometimes within 8 days, sometimes after 8 days, you get the answer. You don't have to do follow up and call up and then wait. And this is waiting game in most offices. Wait, officer is coming. You're waiting 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, and whole day goes in serving the officer. So this is because our government system is still in colonial mind. It has to come out of colonial mindset. It has to come into serving the people. Then it will work.
So that's why we are going to have a next episode on the colonial constitution, where we'll discuss these aspects too.
No, this constitution itself has created this. That is one of my theories.
The administrative setup. The root document is the constitution. Yeah, and I also wanted to have conversations with all kinds of people with like different having different views, even conflicting views, different ideologies, etc. Because I think though you may have X ideology, you may have X point of view on a certain topic, any political issue or anything, religious view, etc. But still, you can have a proper, good, civilized conversation because we are civilized being is what we claim because we are humans and we are not animals. So I think we can have conversations even if we have like conflicting viewpoints.
Yeah, absolutely. And only when you have difference of opinion, that's when the discussion gets enriched. Because without having, because there, see, in like I told you, in India there is one person who is living in 22nd century and one person who is living in 1000 BC, and there is going to be difference in opinion. There is going to be difference in application of everything, policy, law. Even a news event will affect these two people very different. And that is the idea, that when you get to know and understand their perspective, you find that there is a bit of there is a bit of truth in. Nobody is like 100% liars. Everyone has a perspective and they are right from their perspective, and you have to understand their perspective. And sometimes the law is, you have to make some adjustment to the law. Sometimes the process needs to be adjusted. But at any rate, you have to understand the idea.
Existence.
Exactly. Yeah. Because ultimately it's a assimilation of all viewpoints. Loktantra means assimilation of not just one viewpoint, but all viewpoints. And there is a agglomeration. You have to bring consensus. You can't just simply randomly impose ideas on people.
Okay, so let's end this conversation now. This was the first episode where we talk about why we wanted this podcast, about what we wanted to discuss.
In the next episode, we'll talk about colonial constitutions. which is basically we are talking about Constitution of India and its colonial underpinnings, and how the colonial ideas and mindset continues to prevail and influence our current laws even after the British have left 75 years ago. Even today, their influence continues. We'll discuss that in the next episode.
So stay tuned for the next episode. Till then, bye bye.